can give you one advice that will change your life. Do not get tattoos.
I'm getting all my tattoos removed. Well, not all of them, but if you don't know, I'm currently going through laser tattoo removal.
It looks like some women are starting to regret their decision to get tattoos and are now considering getting them removed. Of course, tattoos are a personal choice, but this is exactly why it's important to think carefully before getting one. Some of these stories are absolutely wild, so make sure you watch until the end because the final clip might be the craziest one.
I'm really intrigued to see people's reactions without my tattoos. Super weird. It looks so strange.
I kind of feel like I've lost a little bit of confidence. I think that my tattoos make me feel like... Got to change my tenner by any chance?
I don't, I'm afraid.
Oh, thank you anyway.
Well, heavy is a tenner.
Oh, bless you. Excuse me, do you know the way to Selfridges?
The other end of Oxford Street.
Down by Oxford Street.
Go down there and turn right. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Near Marble Arch.
Thank you. Without the tattoos, they didn't seem as like intimidated or threatened by me, and they were more than happy to help. Straight down there.
And you'll get to, there's those like restaurant standards like that, turn right.
I set myself up for the negativity already. I know how I can be treated by people. So I think that maybe I had a bit of a barrier.
Honestly, this could be completely true. Maybe she simply feels more confident without her tattoos. But situations like this are a good reminder that you should really think about a tattoo before making that permanent decision.
Hot take, a lot of your tattoos are really bad, and the reason why your grandparents are like, do you know that's gonna last forever, is because it kind of seems like you don't. And I think if you're gonna get a tattoo under the age of 25, you need to bring like 3 friends with you to sign off, because what's happening right now is unacceptable. Like, you can't tell me that a tattoo of a rat eating spaghetti is gonna resonate with you for the rest.
149. Getting tattoos at a young age can sometimes lead to regret later on. A lot of people make impulsive decisions, choose designs they haven't thought through, or simply get something done on the spot. As people grow older and their tastes change, those decisions can look very different.
Getting all my tattoos removed. Well, not all of them, but this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one.
And that's another important thing to consider. Tattoo removal can be a much bigger process than getting the tattoo itself. It can take multiple sessions, cost a lot of money, and require much more time and patience. Removing a tattoo isn't always an easy solution.
Do not get tattoos. Do not get tattoos. My biggest regret in life is getting tattoos. Like, I wish I can just go back just to not get tattoos. I was young when I got all my tattoos, and now I'm 26, and let me tell you, I regret it every single day. I feel so dirty. I wish, because of my skin tone, it's just hard for me to remove all my tattoos. But I wish in the future they just create something like easier. You just do it one time and it removes all your tattoos.
That's why I think it's especially important to think carefully before getting a tattoo in a highly visible area. You might love the design today, but there's always a chance you'll feel differently about it years from now. At the end of the day, it's all about thinking before you make a permanent decision.
We got to talk about your tattoos, and this is not going to be easy. You're going to be upset, and I don't even want to say it, but here's the thing. Tattoos are a class indicator, and that's not my opinion. That is Pew Research, and I wrote this down. What Pew Research says is that almost half of Americans making under $30,000 a year have tattoos. But for the people that make over $100,000, it's nearly half that. So what that basically says is that people who make a lot of money don't really get tattoos. People who make smaller amounts of money do get tattoos. They're more likely to. And that doesn't mean that tattoos make you poor. Causation, correlation, that whole thing. But this is my question to you. If people who are making the most money are choosing not to get tattoos, what does that say about what tattoos communicate to the rest of the world? And is that going to change your opinion? Are you going to keep getting tattoos? Are you going to get yours removed? How do you view people with...
I think one reason opinions about tattoos can vary so much is because attitudes have changed over time. Older generations grew up in a period when visible tattoos were often considered unprofessional or socially unacceptable. Today, tattoos are much more common, so the way people view them has definitely changed.
I'm 60 years old and I've seen the full evolution of tattoos in America. When I was young, if a guy had tats, he was pretty dangerous, most likely in prison or in a motorcycle gang.
It was actually a time that if you had a visible tattoo, man or woman,
you couldn't even get a job. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, women started getting tattoos. It was kind of cute. They had a little tramp stamp at the back. That was kind of sexy. And now everybody's got tats. They have tats all over. When your doctor, your lawyer, your CPA all have tattoos, I think they've lost their edge a little bit. My colonoscopy doctor came in to give me a colonoscopy. He extends his arm to shake my hand. I was like, holy shit, guy, are you in the Hell's Angels? What the fuck is going on? Now I want to start a new trend, and that is to look very, very dangerous. You need to be clean. No tattoos like me. No beard, no tattoos, no nothing. And you say, hey, that guy, he's...
There was definitely a time when tattoos were considered pretty taboo. Having visible tattoos could lead people to make all kinds of assumptions about you. But society has changed a lot, and tattoos are far more mainstream than they used to be.
I regret my tattoo, but not this one, because this is actually not a real tattoo. And the reason why I trick the whole internet is that I have a message to young people and all of the people who wants to get covered in tattoos. I want everyone to know that I regret my tattoos, and you might regret yours when you get...
I definitely understand the concern here. Getting a huge tattoo that covers a large portion of your body is a major commitment. Even if you eventually decide you don't want it anymore, removing something that large could take a lot of time, money, and patience.
I want to remove like 75% of my tattoos. Wow, I needed to get that off my chest. Guys, my mom was right. Don't get a bunch of tattoos before your frontal lobe is formed. Like, your girl turns 25 later this month. I'm pretty sure like 3 or 4 months ago, I felt my brain just, she was formed. So many things in my life, I was like, what was I thinking? I just fully realized that every single one of these tattoos was an impulsive decision. It was probably because I had unmedicated ADHD and I was just searching for a little quick dopamine boost. It's $4,000 for unlimited tattoo removal sessions. Like, you go in as many times as you want for $4,000 and they'll delete your arm. Have I been looking into that? Yeah. It's been like 6 months of thinking about this, guys. I'm not saying I'm gonna start immediately, but if this arm starts fading in the next year or two, you know why. None of you told me how bad it was. You just let me keep doing it. I blame you.
And like I mentioned earlier, tattoo removal can sometimes end up costing more than the original tattoo. Depending on the size, location, and number of sessions required, the total cost can become extremely expensive. That's definitely something worth considering before getting a large tattoo.
Everyone around you has a tattoo. Your friend just got their third. Your coworker is showing off a full sleeve. Even your Instagram looks like a gallery of fresh ink. And yet, you're the only one with completely blank skin. So why does that make you the weird one? Here's what's actually going on inside the mind of someone who never gets a tattoo, because the answer might completely change the way you think about identity itself. Let's start with the numbers. Over 46% of millennials have at least one tattoo. Nearly half a generation walking around with permanent ink. Yet, while everyone analyzes why people get tattoos, almost nobody asks why some people don't. And no, it's not fear. That's the biggest misconception. It is how people relate to time itself. Psychologists call it future self-continuity, the ability to imagine yourself as the same person years from now. To some people, getting a tattoo feels like making a permanent decision for a future version of themselves who feels like a stranger. It is not indecision. It is future-focused thinking. Research shows personalities and values can change dramatically over decades, and people without tattoos tend to be very good at imagining future regret when it happens. Beyond that, many tattoo-free individuals have what psychologists call a fluid identity orientation. They see themselves as constantly evolving, unfinished, and adaptable. A tattoo feels like freezing an identity they do not believe is meant to stay.
This is actually an interesting point. People are constantly changing, especially when they're young. Your interests, personality, and priorities can all be completely different a few years later. A tattoo can become a permanent reminder of a version of yourself that no longer feels like you.
Tattoos.
Really? Why?
If I see a tattoo on her, it's over.
Really? Why is that?
Because girls that get tattoos are usually more promiscuous.
And is that like a red flag for you?
Instantly.
Okay, interesting.
Because if I was to take her seriously,
yeah,
I'm not going to take a promiscuous girl seriously.
You know how we always make the joke of like old people being like, oh, you know those tattoos are permanent, don't you? Yeah, of course I know it's permanent. But now I'm sitting here looking at tattoos that I've had since I was 18 and I'm like, oh, that took me forever. And I liked that when I was 18. This moon right here, it makes me, no, I'm gassed.
Tattoos are definitely much more accepted today than they were in the past. However, certain highly visible tattoos can still affect how people perceive you, especially in some professional environments. Even if that perception isn't fair, it's something people may want to consider before getting heavily tattooed.
Name?
Ramon.
And what do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
So I am now going to hand you a pic.
Sativa, and I'm 29.
So Sativa, why did you have your balloon unpopped for him?
He's handsome, and I was just kind of waiting to hear more.
So why do we end up popping hers?
I bet I could guess, but go ahead.
What would you say?
Probably all the stuff on my face.
The tattoos.
Yeah.
I like
piercings.
tattoos. I got some too, but you got some in some areas that I'm not sure my mom would kind of approve. She kind of be like,
And I actually have like other things too.
Other things like what?
When it comes to tattoos and piercings, all this stuff, like it's for most men, it's going to be either neutral, but that's the best it's ever going to be. Like when you get all tatted up, piercings, it's either going to be a neutral and you're doing that for yourself because you like it, or it's going to be a negative for men. It's either a neutral or a negative. But all your tattoos, all your piercings, it's almost never going to be a positive.
For me,
now there's some dudes who have like tattoos, but it's a guy's never going to be like, I didn't want her. Now that she's all blasted in tattoos and has a septum piercing, now I want to bang her. No.
I think that a guy that has tattoos would be more like obviously accepting of a girl that has them. You know what I mean? And if that's like the type of person that you want to attract, like.
Here's what I agree with.
Okay.
A guy who has tattoos is probably more accepting, that's the word you use,
Yeah.
accepting of a woman who has tattoos. Right. Whether or not it makes her more attractive.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's the case. No. Even for men who have tattoos.
I can understand this point as well. If someone already has tattoos themselves, they may naturally be more comfortable with a partner who has tattoos too. Of course, everyone has different preferences, and the amount or style of tattoos can make a difference depending on the person.
I won't date you because you have tattoos. Peace out.
I do regret some of my tattoos. For example, the 444. When I got this tattoo, I just thought angel numbers meant you were closer to God. I didn't research this, I didn't read it in the Bible, and I just liked how this looked on my arm. That's why I got it. I have a Gemini tattoo behind my ear. I used to be a Gemini thumper, like I'm Gemini down. I took pride in being a Gemini. I made videos about being a Gemini. I have a tattoo on my spine of the 7 chakras. I'm not Buddhist. I don't know anything about Buddhism. I just like some of their principles. So I put it on my spine. Ah! Yikes.
First time in my life, I actually kind of regret getting tattoos. And I don't have anything crazy. I have like a bunch of small ones. I have a bigger one on my ribs. But I always hated the saying, would you put a bumper sticker on a Lamborghini? And I always said, well, if I didn't think bumper stickers were heinous, I probably would. And now I'm like, I have a whole different perspective because I'm like, why would I mark up this body that God has given me? Like, this body is not even my own. It belongs to the Lord. It belongs to Him. Like, who am I to put these markings all over my body? And that's just been like a recent conviction of mine. For a while now, I said I would never get more tattoos, but now not only would I not get tattoos, I literally want to have a pencil eraser and erase every tattoo on.
I've never really understood getting a tattoo connected to something you know almost nothing about, especially when it involves a religion, culture, or symbol that you don't personally identify with. If you're going to make something permanent, it probably makes sense to understand what it actually represents.
What would you do if your partner said they didn't want you getting any more tattoos? For context, my boyfriend and I have been together for about 5 months, and I very clearly have quite a few tattoos. And we were having a conversation yesterday. I sent him a picture of this girl that had 2 arm sleeves, and I said that I thought it looked really good. And his response was, if you think this looks good, then we need to reconsider what we're doing here. He then went on to say it gets to a point where it's too many. And he has voiced this opinion before in the past, saying, I think, too many tattoos is unattractive. I think what you have is fine, which I've always said I don't want my whole body covered in tattoos, but I've always considered doing my other arm, at least finishing my one arm. And he's known this since we started talking. He's known that I've wanted to get more tattoos, at least on my one arm, and fill in what I have. And I think it really got under my skin this time because I was thinking, like, what is that fine line? Like, what happens if I go to the tattoo shop and I get one more tattoo and I come home and he's just like, yeah, actually, that one right there was the fine line for me. And that's my threshold of what's too many. And I'm all for respect. If my partner doesn't like something, I'm not going to do it, and vice versa. If there's something I don't like, he's not going to do it. But at the same time, I feel like this is different because when I met him, he knew I liked tattoos. And I think it's kind of weird to say, okay, well, you know, what you have is fine, but if you decide to get a lot more, I'm actually all set. But can't define what too many.
1459. To be fair, this sounds more like a misunderstanding than anything else. When she said she didn't want her entire body covered in tattoos, he may have interpreted that as her saying she wouldn't get any more tattoos. If he already wasn't comfortable with the tattoos on her arms, that could easily create tension between them.
It was not honest. I like a person who's honest and can keep it real about everything. There's no need to lie.
I broke the heart because I don't really want to mess with Jesse's girl. And so you got, you know, Jesse's is plastered on
I made a mistake on that.
Zoom in on that. Show that.
I would never do that again.
I can't.
Not with that no more.
I would never know that. 'Cause every time I'm in front of you,
hey, I gotta cover it up.
Yeah, you gotta do something because I see everything but everything and Jesse. I don't want to see Jesse. I just want to see everything.
Ain't nowhere to run. Don't worry.
Having an ex's name permanently tattooed on your body can definitely create complications in future relationships. Imagine starting a new relationship while your partner has to look at their ex's name every single day. That's something many people would understandably be uncomfortable with.
I think tattoos are a red flag. Any woman that is obsessed with drawing all over her body, there's something wrong with her. I've never met a woman that's heavily tattooed that didn't have something wrong with her. Men, tattoos are totally different. It's a masculine trait, right? Like throughout history, men have tattooed themselves. You know, it's a tribal sort of experience. For some, it's a rite of passage. For some, it has a lot to do with culture and what they believe in. But tattooing the female body hasn't been as common as it is in modern times. It's not that uncommon to see a beautiful woman covered in tattoos. And it's, to me, that's the same thing as putting bumper stickers all over a Lamborghini. Men, in my experience, want debt-free, tattoo-free. When a woman's tatted up, it shows that she's done something with her past that isn't that particularly favorable. You know, it's like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, because realistically, it's mostly guys, you know, doing the tattoo work on their bodies. And I know several tattoo artists, and the vast majority of them have intimate experiences with these women too.
Some people might see this as a double standard, but tattoos have historically been associated with masculinity in certain cultures and periods. Social attitudes are changing, though, and today people of all genders get tattoos. Ultimately, everyone is going to have their own preferences.
Can I be honest? Demi, I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you and I actually ever did up getting together, I'm gonna need you to like remove those tattoos. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? You don't like my tattoos?
Like, not all of them. Like, you could keep a couple, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, cause look, listen, I'll explain it. You're a very, very, you know, you're a very nice looking, you know, woman, and I just.
So you're like the controlling type, is that what it is? Like you can't do this, you can't wear that?
No, if you want to make adjustments to me, I'll listen to your criticism.
All right, well you need to wear socks at all times.
Let me involve myself real quick. Controlling is good to an extent.
Yeah, bro, I wanted it like
it's tattoos, and it's not like it's like on my hands. They're just butterflies and little freaking dinosaurs.
Yeah, I understand, but you have to. What, Combi? Go ahead.
Combi, go ahead. Speak with your chest.
Yeah, go ahead.
You just said you tattooed a dinosaur on you?
No.
It's a little dinosaur.
This is Aiden Ross, and if he personally prefers a partner without tattoos, that's simply his preference. Everyone has certain things they consider deal breakers when it comes to relationships. You don't have to agree with someone's preference, but people are allowed to decide what works for them.